Hi Prêt-à-Template designers! The 2022 Met Gala will take place on Monday, 2nd May in the New York City. It celebrates the second volume in a two-part Costume Institute exhibition. The first in America, a Lexicon of Fashion, opened on September 18th and was preceded by the 2021 Met Gala on September 13th. And where Anja Rubik wears a dress by Saint Laurent, reference to the sexual revolution of the swinging 60s, the striking presence of transparencies and feathers in the model refer to original designers' first experiments with hyper-sexy. So, let's get started and let's recreate this amazing look. So I think I'll take a walking figure, but I will change it slightly later. And start with removing the views which I don't need. Using these sliders, let me grab a pencil. And reducing the opacity of this one. So I will begin by creating a croquis or sketch of the figure, and using my first layer, I'll just grab a pencil. Here you can choose the size. I'm taking the smallest size and the black color, and I will sketch. You can zoom in into the details that I need. There are different ways to sketch a face, I guess, depending on your style. It can be very detailed or impressionistic way. It depends on you. If you want to find a tutorial on how to do it, like a really realistic and detailed breakdown of the process, you can find it in the tutorials. I'll just try and sketch the features as I see them. And I try to draw both sides at the same time to get the symmetry. Eyes will be somewhere approximately in the middle of the face. So I'm using a side of my pencil to create this broad line without any apparent contour for the hairline. It's very important to draw a collarbone. It has a shape of a letter S, like this, slightly curved. And I will have to do slight changes to the pose. I guess I'll keep the hands the same, but this hand will go to the front. Like this. So here's what I want to do. I want to try and recreate the pose. For that, I will keep one leg straight. So I'll look at this leg and I'll draw it on this side. And this leg, I will move it a little bit. So I'm looking at this curve. I'm just creating the same thing, but a little bit towards the side. So the second leg, I will actually use the scissors. And use a symmetry tool to copy it to this side. I think I want to fix this part to look more flat with a little angle. I feel I want to change the position of this hand and actually place it in front, like on the bottom. So I'm going to use scissors and copy this part to this side. And I will sketch the dress roughly here. So I think this is it for a croquis. I don't need more details. I think this will do. So step 2 is going to be to color all the skin because it's going to be a transparent dress. So step 2 is going to be to color the skin because the dress is transparent. So I'm going to dress the body, everything, to color everything, and then draw the dress on top. So I'm going to use one more layer, press plus and drag it under the sketch so that sketch stays on top. And I start coloring. The technique that I like to use is marker, and I will check which color I will take from the skin colors palette. I guess this color, and just go around the entire skin area. And now I will gradually reduce the size of my brush with different colors to create shadows. So I can use the same color, except I will drag this toggle to get a smaller size. So what I'm trying to do is see these shadows and try to add them on my picture. I don't think that shading below makes sense because it's going to be all too dark, so just going to focus on the area before the knee. And I need a few more darker shadows. Just change the color slightly to a warmer tone. Might go for this pinkish one. Not exactly warmer. Maybe this is better, yeah. So if you can see, there's a very dark shadow here, and I will just use the same color to add it here. I'll remove everything that is too much outside of the line, and just now I want to focus on the values, getting the values right, getting the beautiful shadows, and that is going to be my secondary concern. I want to borrow some warmer peach tones from the lip color palette to make the face a little more alive, so to speak. To add a few warm touches, some peachy tones. I think I will add highlights using a pencil instead. If this looks too harsh, I will just soften it using one of these colors, and I can kind of unite with a bigger brush, like so. Okay. Of course you can get more detailed on everything, but I think I will do it a step later. So I will just get rid of these places where the color went out, and keep in mind that pressure that you apply to the eraser makes a difference to how big it becomes. So if you need it to be really small, you just don't apply pressure and it will get really small. Also, holding a pencil vertically really helps to get the eraser super tiny, to get into all the small places as well. Here actually it doesn't really matter, it will all get covered with black. Okay, I think that's great. So this is like first coloring stage, I would say, of the body, and I have to do the same stage for the dress, like not getting into the small details, but I want to do it on a separate layer just because it's on top of the skin, and I'm afraid if something goes wrong or I will get it too dark, I can always go back to this layer. So I'm gonna place one more, which is going to be on top because the dress is on top, and it will cover these body parts. So I can work with marker for feathers, I guess. I will combine a few tools actually. I'll start with marker. So what I want to do is get this turquoise color and use it for coloring. I'm just browsing through these pixels to get a really nice color, and I will just start applying. I think this is too solid. I want to leave some gaps because there are some gaps there. And I know you can see some of these lines on top, but in the end of, like during finishing the illustration, I will take care of editing the croquis. So this right now, I kind of need it just as a guide, but I will take care of these problems in the end. And then there's dark black part. I should have started with it actually, but okay, since I'm already doing it this way, then it's okay. I should have started because it's under the blue and it's always easier to put this on top rather than cutting in with the black, but you can keep that in mind. This looks very patchy, so what I will do, I think, is I will use another tool. I will use the watercolor brush. It looks perfect. It won't look patchy. And for now, I will go back to this layer just to add the black pants. Okay, and I will continue with these turquoise elements. And I will work on the detailing later. And now to the bottom part. Approximately like this, and there's a lot of sparkle and the seam and a lot of beautiful detail in the feather, but I will do it on a separate layer on top of this. So now I can add one more layer on top and get more precise with the face features using a pencil. So when I'm drawing a precise interpretation of all the features, I think I would like to pull this layer on top of the croquis, because if I want to refine some of these lines, I want to be drawing on top of them. If my layer will be under the croquis, these lines will always stay on top, so I wouldn't be able to edit them. So this is my idea. And I will zoom into the face as much as I can and pick a pencil. I always draw small details with pencil because it gives me the most precision. It's the smallest size that I'm using. And I will just work on the features of the face. I'll be using mostly these palettes, standard palettes for face, eyes, and the other features. They're more than enough for me to pick any color I need for the face. So I will focus on the eyes first. As you can see, I'm covering this drawing. This is exactly why I pulled the layer on top of the croquis. Another thing you can do, you can pick the colors directly from the photo if you want. I usually don't do that. So when I draw eyes, I always place the darker color on top under the lid and lighter color here because it adds glow to the eye. There's always a shadow under the eyelashes and the eyelid, and that's a great way to show that. So I've added light beams using small white pen, and I will again switch back to the pencil. So these very dark color for crease, I'm going to switch to another color and color on top of it to make it much lighter. And same with the lips color. Since I'm drawing on top of this black, I can use it as a reference, but eliminate these black croquis altogether. And I might as well work on the hair, but I will take a marker first to add some light color, and then I will work on the details using pencil. So I will go for the hair palette. You can take this color. And then I will take a pencil to add other colors, and I think this time I will swatch it directly from the photo. You can do the same. And on the places where hair goes out, kind of on the peak of the curves, you'll always have these highlights. So you don't actually drag light color all around, you just highlight the places where it bends and the light hits it. Over here you can see the area of light, and then there's lighter parts where the light bounces off the hair strands. So I'm adding definition, like these separations between the different strands of hair. Now I'll take a white color and place it in the middle of the highlights that I already have to give it more shine, to give the hair more shine. Now I am starting to apply the same approach of very detailed detailed drawing to the rest of the body, and I might just add some minor details here and there. So I'm definitely drawing over the black lines to soften the drawing and add a softer transitions between colors, because right now they look too harsh with this level of detailing to the drawing. So I'm barely touching the surface of the screen with this very soft, like hatching. I think it gives the feeling of a skin-like texture. You might as well add it to the face as well. I think it's important to treat with equal attention bigger details and smaller. So like if you give this much amount of attention to the face, you have to give the same amount of attention to the hands, so that the illustration doesn't look unfinished and professional. It has to have the right amount of attention to every detail. Deep shadows are going to be black because the hand is on the black dress, and I will keep some gaps between it to make it look alive. Don't make it look too static, the line, like this. And there's a diamond bracelet, so I will give a slight suggestion to it before I forget to draw it. So I'm starting with the shadow, and then I will draw it gray. And then I will add white details to it. I'm gonna need a small pen to actually add fine highlights. Okay, I think now I can start doing the details of the dress. So I will add one more layer on top of this layer, and I need to finish this black part first before I do the feathers because it's underneath. So this is the principle: you start from something under, which is skin, and then the dress, and then the feathers. So one thing that I can see is that I want to first erase little inconsistencies of the color here. Just a little bit. And I'm coming back to the top layer with a black pencil. And I will do that because I can see that the body proportion here is not good. So it's like tilted. I will fix that using a black pencil, like this. Because the figure was walking motion, and I opted for a static pose, and that's why I got these inconsistencies in the end of the day. And I will just darken some parts. Now one thing I need to draw on top is the mesh, and if you zoom in really closely, it's just a black mesh with little crystals on each intersection. So for the crystals, I have an idea. I'm gonna add one more layer and show you what I'm gonna do. I will take a white color, actually off-white, maybe slightly grayish. Okay, this way. And if you search through patterns, you will find this beautiful pattern here, together with the fur and some leather and knitted pattern, this beautiful, interesting pattern. And then if you swatch it on the side, remember I'm on the new layer, yeah? And then you copy this layer and use scissors and then shift it, you will have a very beautiful pattern with a lot of these dots. And then I will put it on the dress like this. I can actually resize it to get even closer pattern. I think I will rotate it as well so that it doesn't look so uniform. And I can do it a few times, and on the bottom of the dress as well. And since I'm working on a separate layer, I can just now erase everything that I don't need. I will leave these on the feather because they will get covered when I draw a detailed feather on the dress. And here's a very nice way to depict this, but I would suggest taking it a notch further because right now it looks way too similar. Remember, we took a gray color, so now I would take a white color, take a smallest size of pencil, and emphasize some of them just like it is right here. Just make it really, really bright. So I'm really emphasizing few of them. And I'm adding some here, so I don't want to have this harsh black line because you can see these crystals, they create the effect of this broken black line. Okay, and now I will create one more layer under these crystals to add this black mesh. So I will try to find something that will fit to my requirement. Go into the patterns library. So this could be a good option actually. I'm gonna just try a few. Okay, so I think the best that I've tried was this one. Yeah. Although I'm not quite sure, because I think when you look at it, you can't really see the mesh. So I guess I changed my mind. I will just take a pencil and I will just draw a couple of lines just to suggest some kind of a texture of a mesh without actually applying it, because then it just looks too obvious and I don't want it to be that obvious, you know. I think this will be better. It's so thin in life, it's not meant to be seen, so I don't want to exaggerate it just for the sake of knowing that I found something that looks like it. I'm more looking forward for the overall effect, and I think this will look much better. And now I will add one more layer to draw details of the feather. Actually, one more time I will come back to draw this seam, which I will use a pen for adding it right here. I want to see if I can add some lighter color here to make the skin appear a little bit more. I think I will do it as a separate layer on top of this one, just so that I can remove it in case I need to. Yes, I want it to look more see-through. Okay, so let's get back to the very top layer, which is empty right now, where I will draw feathers. So I think the best way to do it would be taking a pencil with a higher size, a bigger size, I mean, and I will start with this light color and actually start drawing these individual feathers. Let me try this middle size. So this is the time when I can get rid of all these lines of the drawing. And I will pretty much do the same with each color, but I will not select the next color until I will work on feathers of the top and the bottom section too. So once I worked on the top, I would go to this section and work more in the bottom section as well. You can actually do it very quickly in a very abstract way. And by the time you will layer all three colors, it will definitely get a realistic feeling to it. Okay, and I will start layering another color. I'll take this deeper turquoise and add more of these feathers. So in order to not make it look like fur, you have to give these flying pieces because it's a very light material, so it will have different directions when the wind like gives it motion, so it will go different ways. I will take one more color. There's some more of the green ones. I'll just randomly add some on top. And then I will need to take the light color and a smaller size of a pencil. And I will add some finer touches. And this layering of light, dark on top of light, and then light on top of the dark, it will give more volume to this feather. And now I will take a color which would be the darkest, this deep turquoise, this color. I would actually select myself even a darker color and apply. And finally I will take a white color or close to white for the last touch. I think this looks perfect. And now I have to add the shoes. Obviously the layer has to be under so that I don't disturb the edge of these feathers. So I will create one more layer here, and I will take a marker with a small size and a black color. There's one star from the dress, but actually I don't mind it, I like it. So I'll keep it there. Just adding some shadow along the side. Let's add the shadow on one layer on the bottom of the drawing. I'm going to use some light gray color. Might as well pick the one from this photo. I don't know, maybe some more neutral gray. And I will try a few options, maybe with a watercolor brush would be nice, because I need a soft shadow under the dress. And I will concentrate the darker color here under. And I want to add some shadows under the feathers with a black color. And towards here as well. And I might want to double on this pattern, but I'm not sure. I'll just have to see still whether that's too much. I think what I will do is I will manually add some smaller dots with a small pen and a white color. And I will vary with my hand the strength. I think this is it, and I really hope you enjoyed it. A very super deep dive into the detailed illustration I hope you can create your own and enjoy the process. Thank you for watching this video. Please like it and subscribe to this channel.